Hello, this is Shan Chandrasekhar welcoming you to another delightful part of our programming. As part of the Achievers series, we featured some of the finest achievers from around the world. We are very honored and delighted to present an outstanding individual. He's an extraordinary divine personality with extraordinary accolades in the field of education, healthcare, nutrition, and social work. He's got a BSc honors degree in chemistry. He's got a master's degree in chemistry with a gold medal, and he's got an MBA with a gold medal, and on top of that he's got an honorary doctorate. We are delighted and absolutely privileged to welcome Sadguru Madhusudan Sai. Sadhguru, what an honor to have you with us, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a proud moment for me too, to be a part of this television network that you have created with such great love and care.
Sadhguruji, it's such an honor having you with us. The Divine Mother and Child program of 2025 has garnered tremendous attention. So tell us about this.
As the name says, Divine Mother and Child. So we believe every mother and every child is divine and must be looked after well. This program started some time ago, 7-8 years ago, in Raipur, Chhattisgarh, when we saw that a lot of children who are coming with congenital heart diseases, which means they have a hole in the heart or a malfunctioning valve or some issue. The reason for it was largely the developmental issues during pregnancy, and that was influenced by the nutrition and other healthcare aspects of the mother. So if the mother was not looked after, the child was born with deficiencies and defects. To solve that, we went backward and started looking after the mothers, and that's how Divine Mother and Child program was born, where we look after the mother from the time she conceives the baby all the way to the 1,000 days of the baby after his delivery. So it's a 1,000-day program. So we take care of the entire conception, delivery, and further 1 more year of baby's development, vaccination, whatever is required for its growth. So this has adopted so many thousands of mothers and children around the country. We have 5 dedicated centers, especially in rural, tribal or hilly areas where these facilities are far and few. And that's where we have started treating or looking after those pregnant women who are going to be mothers to be. And then we give them nutrition, we give them healthcare advice, we do their diagnostics and checks. And we also help them deliver the baby in an institutional environment where there is facilities available should there be an emergency, and that has saved so many lives. I would be very proud to tell you that in one of the talukas, which is a smaller cluster inside a big district, it was doing very poorly in Karnataka, very close to where our headquarters are, on maternal and child health. You had a lot of maternal mortality. But last 1 year, ever since we took up this program very seriously, the local deputy collector called up, the commissioner called up and said that in this particular area, there has not been even 1 maternal or child's death.
Wow.
That's for a population of 250,000 people. Not even 1 death last full year. And they traced it all back and said it's because of this program which has taken care of the people, the mothers quite early, and looked after the deliveries and looked after the health of the babies. So that is the power of this program.
Wow, terrific. You also went in terms of exploring the confluence of Buddhism and Vedanta. It's interesting that there is good aspects in every religion, but there is also some correlation between them.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
If you look at Buddhism, we work with a lot of Buddhist monks and monasteries to support them and also learn from them, because our idea is to include everyone, exclude none. That is how we work with very other religious organizations and philosophies. Now, Buddhism per se is a philosophy which is kind of born out of Sanatana Dharma at some point in time. It is born from the Indian soil, so naturally it has roots in the erstwhile Sanatana Dharma, or what is now called Hinduism in some way. But the correlation is that yes, both believe that desires are the cause of all the suffering in the world, just as we mentioned. A wrong desire can lead to wrong action, and wrong action will lead to wrong consequences. What in Sanatana Dharma is called avidya, kama, karma, they say. You don't have the right understanding, that will lead to wrong desires. The wrong desires will lead to wrong action, and then all the misery that comes after that. Buddhism, Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma say the same thing. Control your desires, have good desires. Samyak is the word Buddhism uses, righteousness. We call it dharma. They also call dhamma. dharma. So we have the similar ideologies. Only one place where we differ is we believe that there is the existence of a supreme divine being whom we call God or Brahman. At the end of the road you will meet him. But Buddhism says that at the end of the road there is nothing, that's shunya. Nirvana is to attain that state of shunya where nothing exists. We say no, that nothingness is everything. In that nothingness exists this completion, purna. So our idea is purnamadam, purnamida. Their idea is shunyamadam, shunyamidah. So it's like glass is half full or half empty. That's how you have to look at. So yes, of course, even we at the end don't find a physical God. We also meet the nirguna, nirakara parabrahma only, which is what they are showing. There is nothing at the end of it, but they think it's shunya, whereas I call it purna. So that is the only difference, but otherwise the paths are more or less similar.
You built hospitals not just only in India, in rural India. You started building hospitals outside of India as well. It was in Sri Lanka, it was in Fiji Islands, it was in Africa, it was in other places, including United States actually. But the one in Batticaloa, which is called Mattikalapu in Tamil, in Sri Lanka, tell us about your involvement there.
Thank you for asking this question, because I think that's the project very close to my heart. Sri Lanka and India have been neighbors for a very, very long time. In fact, we share our history, culture, spirituality, and so on. Batticaloa is a region on the eastern side of Sri Lankan island nation, and that is the place where a lot of war widows are still living.
Wow.
I believe where we work, there are 30,000 war widows. So it means there are 30,000 families who have no fathers, and children are orphans.
Sad.
And also it is a multi-ethnic or multicultural society where you have Muslims, Buddhists, Tamils, Christians, all of the Hindus coexisting. Now, what was not there is there was no facility for heart treatment. There were cardiologists, very well trained cardiologists locally, but they did not have a cath lab or a facility where they could treat the patients. So many of them died of heart attack, or they had to be carried a distance of 200 to 300 miles all the way to Jaffna or Colombo, by which time there would be no more. So they requested us that why don't you do something about it. So we had started a medical clinic for the widows and people like that. But then knowing the need, we built a super specialty hospital. It's a cardiac hospital. It has saved over 2,500 lives so far in the last 2 years. And it's doing great. That was the project that started in Batticaloa. Apart from many other projects like women empowerment, feeding the elderly and so on. And then we have this Fiji, of course, after that.
And you had a very prominent presence in Fiji. So tell us about your involvement in Fiji.
We have followers over there, a very, very good family called Tapu family. So when we went there, there was this news item that the newspapers carried, which said that in Fiji these many children are born every year, 2,000 of them, and there is no pediatric heart facility in the whole of Pacific Island area.
My God.
So 16 nations, no heart facility, especially for children. They have to be taken to New Zealand or Australia or to the US or India. Now that's not affordable for most of the Fijians who don't earn as much. So that was the idea, why don't we do a heart center there, just like we do in India. So Sri Sathya Sai Sanjeevani Children's Hospital came up in Fiji in partnership with the government. They gave us the land, we built the buildings, brought the equipments and the expertise, and they also fund a part of the budget every year, because we help the Fijian children, we also help the children from the nearby nations. So that is how it started. So government of Fiji, both the Prime Minister, President and entire cabinet, they were very supportive of this cause. And every year I go there, I'll be going there even after this trip to the US and Canada, I'll be going to Fiji. So we celebrate our anniversary, and yes, we have been very happy with the support that we received from the government there.
We're here to inaugurate the Children's Heart Screening Center, the latest new health facility run by the Sai Grama Foundation. At this new Children's Screening Center, young Fijians will be provided heart screenings completely free of cost.
There are more interesting segments to come, but first we'll have to pause for these messages.
Sadhguru, there is an Institute of Medical Science and Research in your name that was inaugurated in India by Prime Minister Right Honorable Modi. Tell us about that.
Yes, during the COVID time we realized that we did not get enough doctors and nurses to serve in the rural areas. So people, if they got affected by COVID, they had no source of health care. Nobody provided them because there were no people in the rural India and many other rural geographies of the world. Now, one reason was, okay, there are no hospitals, then it's a different matter, but there were hospitals and no doctors. There were hospitals and no nurses or no equipment. When we asked what is the problem, why it's this way, we realized that because of the cost of medical education, which is so high, most of the people spend so much money in getting a medical education that afterwards they have no choice but to work in well-paying jobs in the cities or in corporate hospitals, and they do not want to work in rural government setups. And we thought if we want to improve the healthcare of the country, especially for the rural India, we must invest in the healthcare education. So we started this medical school as an afterthought of COVID, and it is a free education, free accommodation, free hostel, lodging, boarding, books, name it. You just come in one pair of clothes and you can take a medical degree and go. So when this idea was mooted and we started working on it, of course there were many challenges because it's quite an intensive affair to build a medical school because it needs a medical teaching hospital by the side and a lot of faculty and things like that. Anyway, we achieved that. Then when we approached the Prime Minister, who is a very I would say a friend of our mission, he was very happy to know about it and he encouraged us. And he agreed to come and inaugurate it on 25th of March 2023. It was inaugurated and now there are 2 batches which are already studying.
Just for the benefit of yours, here's a glimpse of this grand inauguration ceremony.
We now humbly invite our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, to unveil the inaugural plaque of the Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research by the press of a remote.
तो ये है सद्गुरु मधुसूदन साई की यूनिक मेडिकल कॉलेज। इससे एक बड़ी भाग्य क्या है कि द मोमेंट इज टुडे द मोमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एंड द मैन ऑफ द मोमेंट none other than beloved dear brother Narendra Modi ji is here to inaugurate the one of its only kind, totally free of cost medical college. May I request you all to stand in ovation and respect to this great son of India in dedicating ourselves to Mother India in its services.
You knew exactly how to involve both the government and the non-government and the corporate sector as well. So the Confederation of Industries of India, you involved them also in the projects. So tell me about that creative initiative.
We work on a tripartite model called Sarkara, Samaja and Samstha, 3S formula, which means governments on one side, the corporates and society on the other side, and the social service organizations on the third side. Now, we all have to work together is what I said, because none of us are capable of pulling it off all by ourselves. In India, fortunately, they have come with a policy called corporate social responsibility, and under that 2% of the profits made by the company over the last 3 years, the average of it, they have to give it for a charitable cause. And the causes are identified and listed entities like us are already there to be partnered with. So what we did is that we sought the help of government to create this kind of synergy where government gives us the necessary policies and permissions to start an initiative like Annapurna is one initiative. When you want to serve in the government schools, you need to take the permissions from the local educational authorities. So they have to give those permissions and make it easy for us, a single window kind of a transaction. Then we involve corporates saying that if you would like to support the cause of malnutrition, please help us in serving the kids. Now, government has a budget for such things, but that's a limited budget that may not be sufficient. Corporates have some budget towards their social responsibility. So we bring that budget from there. And then we are a social service organization who execute these projects along with many other like-minded organizations. So this kind of coordination or partnership is what has led to this scaling of the projects, and that's working very well.
You also initiated the Sathya Sai Awards for Human Excellence.
Yes.
It's very interesting that you use the word human excellence, and it's for the legends. So tell us about it.
Yes, this was also something that was initiated by the university that we established. The university is called Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. Just a little deviation. A minister who helped us establish this university, he asked, I've heard universities for economic excellence or other excellence, scientific excellence, but what is this human excellence? What do you mean by that? So the answer is that if a person enters a law college, he comes out as a lawyer. Enters a medical college, comes out as a doctor. So also in engineering college, he comes out as an engineer. So what happens when he enters a human excellence college? He comes out as a divine being, I said.
Wow.
Not even an excellent human, but actually comes out as truly divine in his thought, words and actions. So that is the idea of human excellence. Anybody who has gone beyond the idea of me and mine and worked for the greater welfare of all others unselfishly, such a person is divine. So Human Excellence Awards recognize and celebrate people in 7 areas, from mother, women and child welfare to music and fine arts to sports and yoga also, and scientific, healthcare, education, so on. And these are the people who have contributed beyond their might, very inspiring stories for the welfare of all without any selfishness. So we celebrate that every year on Baba's birthday on 23rd of November.
There are more interesting segments to come, but first we'll have to pause for these messages.
The whole world is now very conscious of the global warming,
Yes.
and sustainability is a major issue.
Yes.
At this time, you took an initiative with respect to sustainable solutions in the field of agriculture in
Yes.
India.
Yes.
Very significant. So please elaborate on that.
India is kind of a granary for the world right now, you see. It is largely an agricultural economy even today. And 65% of Indians engage in agricultural practices. So we thought that when we are doing it at such a big scale, it should be done right. Of course, there were times when there was food shortages and we had green revolution, and usage of chemicals and fertilizers led to a bumper harvest. It helped the nation, it helped us in a big way, so no other way about it. But now in the recent times, all that we did in the past 50 years is taking a toll on our health. I see farmers in the villages having cancers, and they don't even smoke, but they get cancers because of the water and the soil that's contaminated because of the use of pesticides and fertilizers. As you look at India, it is an agrarian economy since the beginning, but we always use very sustainable natural practices, and we never used chemicals. But unfortunately, the recent times were different. So we are going back to our old ways and helping farmers rejuvenate their soils, helping them do organic farming, natural farming, and encouraging them with whatever know-how, knowledge, technology that they require. And towards this, we also established a course in the university for agricultural sciences, for sustainable practices. So we have students studying now these practices, and we learn from our ancient traditions, we learn from other farmers who have been doing this, and slowly trying to change that mindset that organic or natural practices don't yield much or it's not profitable. We're trying to change that mindset because it is profitable. It's slightly expensive at this point of time, but yes, it is the right thing to do nevertheless, because if you eat wrong food, then anyway you are going to spend all the money on your healthcare, which is far more expensive than an organically produced food.
Absolutely.
So we are engaging, we work with cooperatives, farmer cooperatives, and like the Annapurna program, one example is 3,000 farmers work with us. They grow ragi, the finger millet, for us in their fields organically.
Wow.
And they were earlier not doing it organically. But we said this is all going to go to school kids. We don't want to feed them poison. Yeah, they have to eat good food. So they grow organic ragi for us.
No chemical fertilizer.
No chemicals, nothing. Yeah. And that becomes the part of our nutrition program.
Right.
So now we feed these children all around the country with the organic ragi, and that has helped the farmers. So unless you tie them up, you see, just teaching them do good practices and then don't give them the market and the necessary price, then it's not going to last. So governments encourage this side of it, but they don't tie it up with the other side, which is to give them the right kind of market and pricing. We as an organization have shown that if we do this, this works. And Annapurna program and ragi being produced by the farmers is the greatest example. It has empowered them. They're so happy that many of them, when we buy ragi from them, let's say we buy a quintal of ragi, they add a few kgs extra and say, this is our contribution towards the mission. We don't want money for this. And the beauty, Indian spirituality is so strong in villages. I asked them, if I have to test all the ragi in a lab and find out how much of pesticides, insecticides, whatever the things are there in that chemical residues, it's going to cost me a lot. Now, how do we assure ourselves that quality is good? And these farmers tell, Swamiji, please don't even doubt us. We are feeding our own future. We will never do anything wrong. And what they do is they take all the ragi that they've produced. They come to us first before sowing. They get the seeds blessed. Then they go back and sow. And the harvest, when it comes, they take the first harvest to the village temple and they pledge in front of the deity that in all our honesty, we have grown it organically without any chemicals and pesticides. And this is our pledge to the deity. And we will never tell a lie to the deity. So this is the certificate. Of course, we test it randomly here and there, but then all the ragi cannot be tested, right? Every batch. So this is the kind of commitment the farmers have given to us.
Sadhguruji, it's such an honor having you with us, and we would love to have you back on your next trip to Canada. Please visit us here more often now. This country needs you as well.
I'm sure we would love to come back, and it's a great country. It's a multicultural country. And I look forward to coming back, meeting you again. But from my side, I think you're doing a phenomenal job to take our culture, our traditions, our ideas to the whole of the world, and especially in Canada. I think somebody has to do this. And you've done that for so many years. I believe 25 years of being listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and that's a milestone. I know this is not an easy job. And it comes with its own challenges and difficulties, but you have persevered. So also Ms. Jaya, your better half. I truly congratulate you for what you're doing, and I pray and hope that you would continue to do this for all times to come, and may this channel do much, much more for the cause of good entertainment and responsible entertainment and spreading the good word like what you're doing today for us. I'm sure this will inspire many more people to join some cause like this or with us to make it even more for more people in the world. So you are doing great service, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
You made my day, and you made our day, and on behalf of all the staff and people associated with the production of our program,
thank you.
We want to profoundly thank you.
Thank you.
And we have no other words to say. We're tongue-tied.
Thank you so much for this.